Hello there folks, we are back, and as you can see, starting from the pit lane. I shall explain that in a moment, but we are on the Nurburgring, but not the Nordschleife. We are on the GP circuit. I joined a server just at the last minute and missed qualifying, and they actually had already started their rolling race, so I had to start from the pit lane. And then for some reason it says start from the pit lane. Once the green light goes, you're allowed to go. And then as soon as the green light goes, it lets you go, but then says your controls are locked for 30 seconds as if it was a pit stop. So I'm actually starting this 30 seconds down on the back markers. So yeah, got a clear track to start, and this is where we find ourselves. So it's good in a way. There's no pressure on. This was just a random race I joined just to try and work again on my safety rating, get myself back up again. Not the best start here, but stone cold tires, stone cold brakes, and it was like I said, the pressure's off. There's no problems with the first corner to knacker my safety rating, so it was good in a way, and I could really just find my rhythm for driving. Particularly with this circuit, actually the GP circuit, you do need a bit of rhythm, and you find yourself building speed over the laps. So having nobody around me, and I always know that, yeah, sure, I'm not going to catch the leaders in this situation, but the guys at the back are, I am quicker than them, and also they do fight, so you'll find there's people run off the circuit, and there's always opportunities to catch folk up. So it's not dead in the water. I was a bit disappointed when it locked me out of my controls for 30 seconds. Once the green light went, I thought it was going to be released straight away. But that's just swings and roundabouts and how it goes. But like I said, it let me get back into the race here. And you'll see from the thumbnail, the title of this thumbnail is The Good, the Bad and the Ugly. Because the good is when we do catch up with people, spoiler alert, we do actually catch up with people. The racing is pretty good, and we do some really good close racing. There's mistakes in there, and then there's a few incidents and a technical malfunction at the end as well. So it kind of had it all. It was a good race. So there's the first Audi. I don't know what's happened to him, but he's all over the place. So I'm giving him loads of room, and I'll just wait to get by. But an easy lunge up the inside here, and thankfully he was very respectful, moved out of the way. I think he knew his race was cooked, and yeah, he let me by. Also a little shout out, my last video was the most watched video of any of the ones I've done by quite some way. So whoever you are, thank you very much for watching. Hope you enjoyed it. These videos have been made to share with friends, with people that I've seen before, stumble across them, like them, and even better. And if you do like them, give them a like, give them a subscribe, and I'll keep producing the videos as long as people are watching, and it's very enjoying. And like I said, it's a much good video so far, so really pleased with that. Nice little bonus. Yeah, driving well. We're on to the back of the next car coming up here. So seeing he'd gone off at the head. So again, this is what's talking about. The guys at the back will give you opportunities to catch up. It's never a lot of course. So it's good. You can see now my tyres are up to temperature. Finding another rhythm, pace is coming in. I really was. This is probably one of the best races I've driven in quite some time. And the pace was very good towards the end of the race. And that's what explained when it actually happened. I actually had a PB on board. By quite some margin. Fortunately, you guys don't get to see the Delta on my screen. This is the replay, because it's the only way currently for me to capture the length of the recording time for the race. But the Delta was really quite smooth. Again, he just back right off and not too high. So really good racing. And yet another respectable server following on from the Nordschleife server from the other week. It makes such a difference to your racing if you can get races where people will be respectful to you. There's a Ferrari, so there's 3 places to gain. He's obviously just had enough. He was building the circle. So I'm going to speed it up here because I've caught these guys, that's 3, and it's quite some time now. We're had to drive to get onto the back of the next guy. But my pace was really, really solid here. You know, I wanted to speed it up so you didn't think there was any trickery going on or any like cutting and pasting accidents or anything like that, or even a different race. You know, I just spit out the race here and you know, just a little bit to watch them power around the track. So there we are. You can just see a little speck in the distance, and I think that is another Ferrari. And this is the guy who I started my first really good wheel-to-wheel racing with this Ferrari. So, you know, the length of time it took to catch him up, I knew I was faster, but I didn't know I wasn't that much faster than him. I think we were lapping here in the high 56s, high 1 minute 56s. So, for reference, a top-end esports driver on race pace will be going around 1 minute 53s, 53.5, 53.7, something like that. My normal race pace is in the high 55s, although, as I said, my pace really increased toward the end, and I was actually, you know, driving really well. But right now we're in the high 56s, so I knew I was really quicker than this guy, but, you know, compared to him, as you're seeing now, I'm starting my usual 9 games, trying to put him off, but, you know, he does a pretty good job of dealing with it. Look, I'm doing really fake lunge up the inside here. I'm not lunging him. I'm deliberately not diving in. I could sort of make a lunge on the brake, but, you know, I'm trying to practice my wheel-to-wheel racing. I'm trying to practice my ability to, like this right now, to follow people at close quarters. And the biggest thing is, most of the time, you're the one who has to back out just a fraction of a second earlier to give yourself some time. I knew I'm quicker, so it's not like if I back off like they're going through the chicane. I knew I'm faster than them, so if I just back off, if he makes a mistake, I'm not going to crash into the back of him, and I'm also, you know, I'm going to catch him back up again. So it's no big deal, but it's learning how much to back off, because the quicker people get, if I backed off that much, I would have trouble catching them back up again. So that's where, when the standard increases, you can be more confident in the fact they're not going to make a mistake, and you can be more confident that they're going to repeat their driving habits lap after lap, so you can follow them a little bit closer. But when you're coming at the back of the, you know, people back of the pack, you do sometimes have to be aware that you might be making mistakes, and you might be a little bit slower, and, you know, you just back off a little bit earlier than you normally would. Which is what I'm doing here. I'm not pushing. I'm just letting my car off the track. So, you know, you can get opportunities here to catch up. So I'm biding my time. I'm following. I'm seeing where I'm quicker. You'll see here my closing on the brake. Look at him. He actually took a tight line there. I think he was protecting my lunging coming in. So that was a little clue to me that this guy knows what he's doing. You know, he's racing in the mid to high 56s, like I said, which is a reasonable pace. He's taking that Schumacher S's there at a really fast speed, and, you know, he's positioning his car in the corners in the right places. So all those indicators, as I'm driving behind him, are telling me that the guy knows what he's doing. You know, and if I'm going to try and make any little lunges or little, like, feints to overtake, he might be aware of that, so he's not gonna make mistakes. So I do it again there. You know, again, just back out. Don't take any risks. You know, I can catch him back up again. You know, within a lap, I've caught up the distance. You know, let's be honest, I'm gonna make mistakes as well, because I went in a little deep down, so my exit was compromised. He got a good exit. So, you know, you're not dealing with a total numpty up in front of you. You're dealing with a guy who's actually pretty good, and he's got pretty reasonable pace. It's just I knew I was a bit quicker. So this is where, you know, I'm learning, and the best way to learn is if you do get good servers like this, where people are doing things properly. What's terrible when you're trying to race people like this is if a guy's behind you, and then you know, you're backing out to give, you know, a little bit of space, and they just smash into you. That's frustrating. But, you know, I knew I had nobody behind me, so I could really spend my time concentrating on learning to follow the guy, being close to the guy, and biding my time to pick a moment to overtake him. He's also now got the problem of, you know, he's actually looks a little bit faster at this point in the race than the guy in front of us. So he's also sort of juggling that as well. But I think you'll see the guy in front does pull away a little bit. Now you'll see there I moved over as if I was going to dive up the inside. He covered off the inside, turning into the corner. So again, little hint there, the guy really knows what he's doing, and he's not going to buy any of my little jinx, little feints. But I have noticed he takes a different line through there. He seems to do that exact line every time. He's quite wide, but it doesn't seem to affect his speed. So I knew I wasn't going to close into this corner because he was carrying really good speed through the S's. So I knew that corner was out of, likely not a place I'm going to pass. There is always an opportunity coming up into this chicane at the top here, because it is challenging. The curbs are very aggressive. Mistakes can happen. So this is, and it's quite a heavy braking zone. There's little white curbs there that can throw you sideways, and this one here, if you touch the grass, can be a problem. So, that's an area possibly that I shall see later on. You really try and have to be aware of. And so you can see now I'm 2 laps down and following the guy, and so far it's been good. I take a little lunge now. I knew I kind of had the brakes there. He tries to cut back, but I think we hold the place. So he's there on the outside. He tried the old switchback. It was a bit of a lunge, but we got it done. And yeah, there's the move. So that's the first move done. And now I can see this guy had started to pull away. So now it's what my job was to put the hammer down, build a gap to the guy behind me, who I knew I was quicker than. So I knew I was confident I could push this gap now and close the guy in front. In certain parts I could see I was quicker. I was just my head down there trying to catch the car in front and hopefully have another good battle. But as you'll see, it takes me a little minute to catch the guy. So actually his pace was even stronger. His pace was in the low 56s and even some in the high 59s. So this guy was actually approaching my normal race pace. So for me to catch him, I was really having to push. And I was actually seeing times in the mid 55s at this point as I was trying to push, and on my delta. Now I do make mistakes and I was losing time, but my delta was showing really, really good lap times as I try and close the guy down. So there's a bit of time now where I'm pushing, and it's perhaps a good opportunity to talk over a few motorsport related things in the sim racing world. So big shout out to Jimmy Broadbent, who just finished second in class for his team as we watch the car in front bounce out over the grass. Little bonus there for me to catch up. But yeah, shout out to Jimmy Broadbent for he finished the Nurburgring 24 hours in real life, and they finished second in class. A sim racing team racing GT4s on a 24-hour endurance race around the Nurburgring, and they came second in class. And another big shout out to James Baldwin, who is sort of, I don't know, he is the benchmark for sim racers converting into GT3 real world racing. So he won Britain's fastest gamer, or world's fastest gamer, a few years ago, and got a drive in a McLaren for a whole season of British GT3 racing. And he has struggled to get a drive since. He did very well in that season, but budget and money, these things cost a lot of money. So he has been struggling to get a permanent drive. But Garage 59, an official World Endurance Championship team, have contacted him and have given him a drive for the Spa 24-hour World Endurance race. So an official World Endurance race with a top world-class field of GT drivers. He's going in as Garage 59's silver driver. So I think that's coming up after Le Mans. So it's a little bit away. I think it's late June, early July, but it will be on YouTube to watch. So look out for James Baldwin. He is a brilliant sim racer and turns out a very good GT driver in real life. So I think this is just great for sim racing, and it shows the crossover is there, and the skills these guys are learning in the sim are really translating, and they're making them quick in real life. I mean, these guys are beating people that have been real life racing for years. So, you know, it's really impressive, and, you know, it gives you good motivation to keep practicing. But yeah, as you can see, I have closed up the back now, and we're about to enter a period now where I start my wheel-to-wheel racing again. I have dropped the guy behind, so there's no worries from being lunged from behind, and I can really focus on, again, trying to pressure this guy. He's in a McLaren, so the McLaren drives a little differently to the Ferrari. You know, it's a bit more skittish, as you can see, but the guy had pace. He would be generally at where my, you know, regular pace is. You know, like I said, in those high 55s, low 56s, that would be me on an average day. But I have been driving. I've discovered something in my driving technique, you know, to do with braking, and particularly to getting onto the power sooner. I mean, I've noticed how quickly some of the top guys are on throttle. So here, where he's covering me off, so he was late on the brakes, I wasn't going to make it, so I had to back out. But then he runs wide, you know, and I get back on the power early, and then we're going to go side by side into the Senna S's, but there's only one winner there, so best thing to do, back out, live to fight another day. If I go around the outside there, the chances are it's either going to be a crash or I'm going to be in the gravel. So live to fight another day, and again, plot where I can get by. So the guy's showing me he's fast, but he's also showing me that there is a mistake in him. You know, he has been off the track a few times now, or running wide a few times. So I knew if I stayed patient, I think an opportunity would present itself. So again, now it's about me closing up onto the back of him. And here's my mistake. I went in too deep, far too deep, and size. I've got to now go and catch him again. Actually, this is where I was really pleased with myself. Sometimes when I've made a mistake like that, you get frustrated and you start over-driving. You start trying to brake too late, you start trying to accelerate too early, and you end up making more and more and more mistakes. But I've composed myself here, and actually this lap, from start to finish, with the exception of what happened at the end, I had a mid-54 on my Delta, and that is over a second quicker, or about a second, that's about 1.1 second quicker than my personal best around this track, and that's a qualifying personal best. The previous personal best was 55.6, and I had a 54.5 on this lap. Really driving well, so I've discovered something in technique that I'm working on that really worked well in this lap. I was able to catch the guy really quickly, just to do a really, although it looks like I went deep there, I actually did that deliberately to sort of V off the corner and looking at a better exit here. And I was really pleased with this lap. To see, it's the first time ever I've had a 54 on the Delta, and just to see that and to see some of the things that I'm trying paying off was very rewarding. And as you can see, although I made that bad mistake, I'm already right on the back of him. And that is the reason I don't get to finish the lap with a 54 as the lap time. So I actually had to back off, which is a shame. I really, really wanted to have the 54 recorded as my best lap, and it would put down as my fastest time. But you know, no matter, I was really pleased, and back on the back of the guy, and again it's a case of biding the time, and trying to pick the moment, and not doing anything silly. So, you know, that is, I was really proud of that. I mean, for me, that's within a second of the esports group, and that is Delta to the esports guys that I haven't had on any track, let alone a track that's actually a near 2-minute lap, which means it's one of the longer circuits. Normally on a longer circuit, 2 to 2.5 seconds off their pace. So that was, at this point I was feeling great, and I knew to myself, you know what, I was thinking this has been really clean racing, the pace has been good, I caught some of these guys up despite starting in the pit lane, and I was only, it was a 25-minute race, so at this point I'm closing into just a few minutes to go, So I thought, right, all I have to do here is buy my time. I have to get on to the last lap on the lunge on the guy, probably into that hairpin now. I think that's showing itself to be where he's weak on the brakes and I'm quite strong on the brakes thanks to my new found trail braking technique that I've been working hard on. Trail braking is not new and it's not new to me, but I'm just, the way I'm trying to implement it now in this car is I'm trying to be different. So it is working now. So yeah, this was about now, it's wheel-to-wheel racing, and again, I'm just starting to employ my techniques of trying to make a mistake. You know, you put these people under pressure, they're going to try and move brake late, and again, just backing off him, you know, give the guy time, and he's off, and there is the incident. So that's bad. So look again in slow motion. At this point here, I thought he was going straight. So I didn't back out. As you can see, he's looking straight. And then all of a sudden, he comes back across. And it's too late for me to back out, because I'm back on power again. There is an argument that says I saw him go off and I should be backing off. But I saw him go off and then he was going straight. So I got back on the power to take an opportunity and came back on the track. And that was the end of that. So I got bad damage, but I knew I only had maximum 2 laps left. So I thought I can race some damage, to come behind me. And then, the ugly part of my title, at this point, my pedals ceased working. So, technical malfunction, my pedals completely switched off. I had steering, but no accelerator, no brake. And end of race. And the guy gets past again. So, all that